Hello everybody, this is actually a buttercream cake and I've already done an outline on it. I'm going to just show you some more painting on a buttercream. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the color does have a little bit of tendency to bead just a little bit on this crusting buttercream. But it's not bad, and once it starts drying, it really kind of fades out, and once we get all the color in there, it's not going to matter anyway. I think it looks good either way. So anyway, okay, I'm going to start putting some color in here. Like I said before on the other video with the buttercream cake, you have to add a lot more color on these. I'm going to start adding some pink, and instead of like on the fondant cakes, you just add a very small amount of color. But on the buttercream, you have to add a lot more. So, because it just takes a lot more, as you can see. I had a lot on the brush there. Okay. I'm gonna just go in with that. There's on my black outline there. Of course, some of the black will get in there with it. That's fine. You just can blend it in. It's not a big problem. I'm going to keep adding. Of course, the darker petals will be in the center. So, you know, that's where you want your darker color, is in the center, and then you kind of go lighter as you go out. So, and you don't really brush it on like you do on the fondant. You kind of tap it in there, just like I'm doing. You can brush it a little bit, but you have to be very careful because of the buttercream. This buttercream is nicely dried, and it really is got a good finish, but it's still very soft. So you can't really press down on it. You have to be very careful with it. And you're just tapping it in. Okay. Now, let's see. On this one here, I'm going to leave a highlight on this petal because it's a little bit closer to the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some color all the way around. Just like this. I'm just going to keep sort of tapping it in there. If you get a little bit of the black, it's not a big deal. Just mix it in there. Get too much of the black, you can try to lift it out a little bit, but you just have to be real careful. Alright, now I'm going to wash my brush out, make sure there's nothing in it, and I'm just taking water and I'm just pulling this just a little bit. That'll leave a nice little highlight area on that petal there. And then I'm just going to leave it just like that. Okay, and I'm going to pick up some more color. For my darkest, it's going to be right in the center. That's the darkest area. And I got a lot of black mixing in right there, so I'm going to wash my brush out. And I'm going to pull it up, just like that. Rinse it out, get some more color, and put some more color in. So just like I just did, if you get a lot of the black color, which I like some of it in there because it is the center of the flower and it is darkest in the center. But if you get too much, you can really easily just rinse your brush, dab on where that dark black is, and pull it off, rinse it, and do it again. Alright, I'm picking up some more pink. I'm going to just dab a little bit in this little tiny petal here. That also would be pretty dark because it's in the middle. Just like that. Alright. I'm going to go on up here. Some of them I'm going to leave more dramatic highlights because it just looks so pretty when you do that. So I'm going to rinse out my brush really good, and I'm just going to take it and just gently pull. Well, wait a minute, let me rerinse because that was pulling some of the black. I'm going to pull the pink just very slightly into that area. Kind of tap it in, just like that, leaving a little bit of the white. Alright, now on this outer petal, I'm going to do some darker down toward the bottom, and then I'm going to leave the top area much lighter. So I'm going to tap in some of this pink, just like this. And it is mixing with that black a little bit, but that's okay because that area is very dark because it's the, it's the inside area where the petals are all in. So I'm going to come around with that. I'm going to bring that pink up in the line here, just like that. Okay, now rinsing my brush again, and I'm going to take some very, very light pink and just dab it right here on this edge. I'm not even sure you can even see that, but it's very light. And I'm going to rinse my brush out again, and I'm just going in the direction of the petal. I'm pulling that color just like that over onto the white area. Just like that. Just pulling it up. And I always generally leave some of it white because it just looks nice like that. Alright, so let's go on in. I'm going to put some on this one here. Black mixing in right there, so I'm going to go back and wash out my brush really good, get some more pink, and blot it in there. Now I'm going along here intentionally and blending some of that, okay? Alright, now go ahead and fill this little one in. I'm going to leave some white on that one intentionally. Alright, now this petal right here is got, this part is kind of flipped up, and this is the inside part. So I'm going to put some darker pink on this inside part, just like that. You might hear my dog snoring in the background. She's been a nervous wreck because we had a storm this morning, and she's been nervous, and now she's finally fell asleep, thank God. Alright, so I'm putting the dark pink in here because, and I'm actually even going to add a little bit of a dark red, just kind of right down here, just to darken that even more. Just kind of go across there. Mix a little bit of that black in there, that's good. Okay, now, because this part right here is going to be lighter. It's actually kind of flipped up. I'm going to load up some pink, and I'm just going to tap some in here, right around the side. I'm going to blend it in here with this black just a little bit. Alright, now, I really need to leave a lot of highlight on that petal, so I'm just going to take my brush with just some water on it, and I'm going to pull that color up in the direction of the way that petal would be flipped up. Okay, that makes a really nice graded color there. Alright, I'll leave that just like that. Ahead and finished up putting all the petals in there. I'm going to show you real quick how you can do your mixing of some of your colors at times. I've said before in some videos that sometimes I like to, instead of using, just like a basic green that comes in your colors, you can actually mix them, and it probably looks a little bit better, maybe more realistic. So it's pretty easy to do. Let me go ahead and finish this petal here. I'm going to make this a little darker on this side. Not this petal, this leaf. Because the first thing I added on that one was yellow. Now I've got blue. And when I add it, obviously it turns to green. So I'm adding it over there, washing out my brush. I'm spreading out a little bit more runny yellow over here. Okay, now, just so you can see, you take some of the blue, and I'm going to mix it on the cake. I'm actually just trying to get a little bit of a shadow right here, but you can take the yellow and you can then just add a little bit of the blue, and it'll mix it right here on the cake, and you get your green. So it's kind of neat in that way. You can kind of mix it. You can get a kind of different kind of green. And I am ever so lightly brushing this on the leaf. Because see right there, I just put a little tiny hole in there because I did it a little bit too hard. So now I'm going to mix up on my plate over here a little bit of green, and then I'm going to tap in some up here, and just kind of come around and pull it down. I'm going to leave that yellow little highlighted area there. Okay, just like that. Alright, now on another area, I'm going to go ahead and get some more of the green, and I'm going to tap it in here into this little stem and get more color that I've not enough. When you're working on buttercream, you have to add a lot of color because it just soaks it up, and it's completely opposite to fondant. Fondant, you use a very tiny amount. Buttercream, you use a lot. Okay, there's that stem. Alright, now I'm going to go in and I'm just going to get some yellow on this leaf, and I'm just going to tap some yellow in there. I'm going to go back, pick up some blue, and you can see how it mixes. That is blue, and it mixes with the yellow. Okay, washing out my brush, and I'm just going to mix them up. I didn't get any more color on that at all, just wash the brush out, and I'm just dragging it to drag the color along over to the side. And I think that's pretty impressive for that being buttercream. Not sure how good you can see it because it's very smooth and the color is sort of graded, and so fondant is pretty simple to get that, but with buttercream it's a little bit more difficult. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put in this leaf here. Same way, just going to dab it in there. I got a little fuzz in there, let me get that off. Now I'm going to get some blue, and I'm going to start putting some blue around the sides. I'm going to rinse my brush out. I'm going to just mix it together very lightly. Just like that. Alright, I'm going to keep on going. I got another leaf over here. I'm going to tap it in there. Go ahead and tap some in on this one too. Alright, now I'm going to go back, pick up my blue, and I'm going to go in and put some on each one. Okay, now I'm going to rinse out the brush again, and I'm going to blend it just like that. That one's a little darker. Rinse out again, and we'll blend this one. And it really does make some pretty nice graded leaves on the color. You can see how it looks nice there. Okay, now I'm going to get some green, and I'm going to fill in this little stem over here. Alright, this is the time when you, as I showed in another video, you are balancing the arm that you're painting with your other arm, because you can't really put your hand down on this cake. Fondant, yeah, you can, but this one, no, you cannot do that. It'll just squish your buttercream, and you really don't want that, especially after it's already crusted, because then really you can't do much of anything to it, so that's not a good thing. Okay, so I'm going to come back around here and finish these up.